Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brandy and today we're going to talk about spray tans. I love spray tans and by now I am pretty good at them. So I kind of want to just share some of my secrets with everybody. I've been getting spray tans for about 10 years now and it has taken me about that long to figure out how to optimize my results. So I will be going over 3 different stages: the prep phase or the before care, the intra phase or the during care, as you're getting your session or your spray, and the after phase, the post care for extending your tan as long as possible and making it look as natural as possible. Okay, so starting with prep, you're going to want to, for days up, in general, stay moisturized and hydrated, but especially for a spray tan, days up to the spray tan, I usually make sure for about a week I'm very diligent with my moisturizing and hydrating. So drinking a lot of water and using a really nice moisturizing body lotion, especially after the shower when the pores are open, so that your skin is nice and supple, the cells are moist and welcoming to the spray tan, if you will. So dry skin will flake off, you're gonna lose your tan more quickly, and it's gonna look more uneven, you're not gonna like it, you're gonna look fake, you're gonna look orange. And another reason people look orange brings me to step 2, which is actually not really a prep phase, but it's kind of part of the prep process, is deciding which level you want to go with. Okay, so I'm not obviously, but I'm wearing a spray tan right now. Your girl is very fair, right? So I usually choose a level 1 because the level 1 is going to have a less amount of what we call DHA or dihydroxyacetone. So this is the delayed bronzer. It's not a tint, it actually will bind with the protein levels in your skin and chemically react to them, turning them brown. If there's too much DHA and not enough melanin and not enough protein in your skin, I am aware those are 2 different things, but work with me. It will look orange because the excess DHA doesn't have anything to bind to, so it looks gross. So we don't have time for that. Anyway, so next I want to talk about exfoliating. I usually exfoliate within 24 hours of my spray tan, and I don't mean a harsh exfoliant, just taking a loofah with, some sort of body wash. And just making sure that I'm getting rid of all of the dead skin cells, any dryness, especially around the feet, and obviously other parts of the body, but especially the feet. You want to make sure that you're getting rid of all of that dry skin because, again, the spray tan will stick to it and it'll look bad. Yeah, so anyway, okay. So another part of the prep process is making sure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. Obviously I am a vegan, so I still get the question for some reason in 2018 if I get enough protein, and the answer is yes, but that's a whole nother video, right? Okay, so get enough protein in your diet, because you need protein in your skin to bind with that color or that compound, whatever, to bind with the DHA and give you that beautiful look. Okay, so next, when you're getting into the spray tan, don't be wearing any lotion, no deodorant, no makeup, nothing that's going to be a barrier between you and your glow, because you want the body to be like a blank canvas, right? So no real explanation for that, just don't wear any of that stuff. If you're planning on getting a wax, whether it be your eyebrows, your mustache, your armpits, your lady parts, man parts, whatever, do it before the spray tan, because if you do it after the spray tan, it's just gonna look terrible, it's gonna irritate the skin and you're gonna look uneven. So I feel like this is a little bit more of a straightforward explanation, but some people, you'd be surprised. So, okay. Lastly, for the prep process, wear loose fitting clothing, okay? So even if you are getting a clear option, or what we call a only delayed bronzing option, you're not going to see the color right away, so it's not necessarily going to come off on your clothes, but just for mostly your comfort and also just in case for optimizing results, I always recommend wearing loose clothing. It is mostly for comfort, but you never know. You don't want to rub too hard with tight-fitting clothing. Undergarments, I never wear undergarments before I go get a spray tan. It's usually just sweatpants, a loose-fitting t-shirt, something like that. Okay, so moving on to intracare. So you're at the salon or you're getting ready to apply your tan. Make sure you're using barrier cream properly. So as you can see, you know, I do have a nice even tan. Barrier cream takes people often years to perfect because it's so tricky barrier cream. Barrier cream, as it sounds, is just a lotion or a cream that you apply to certain areas of the body that you do not want the spray to darken too much. Your hands and feet are twice as porous as the rest of your body, or at least significantly more porous, so it's going to absorb more color. And also there are parts of the hands and feet that are drier than the rest of the body, so dry skin also attracts that color to stay a lot longer as well, which also makes it look uneven. So using barrier cream, you want to use a thick amount of barrier cream on each cuticle. I just do it after I undress, and it's like the last thing I do before I get in. But barrier cream is so important. Again, thick on the cuticles. Typically, I will put another thick layer on each of my toenails as well. And then if there are drier parts on the outside of my heel, I will put a little bit of barrier cream there, a little bit in between my toes and fingers, just a little bit in here. You just don't want it to be too cakey because then it'll have like a very blunt line. So maybe a thinner layer between the fingers and toes, and then sometimes on the pointer fingers and also the thumbs. So just this area right here. I will also put a little tiny bit, not too much, but just a little bit of layer there because for some reason those parts of my hand always grab more color. So as far as barrier cream is concerned, that's really all you need it for. No other part of the body should need barrier cream. Also using lip balm and nose plugs is really nice. The nose plugs is mostly just so you don't feel like you have to hold your breath the whole time, but you also, I don't really know if it's necessarily dangerous, but I can't imagine inhaling all of that is really pleasant for, anyway, use nose plugs. The lip balm obviously is to be a barrier for your lips so that you don't get any dark stain on the lips as well. Hairnet, again, should be seemingly obvious, but I do like to recommend, and always have to my clients, when you apply the hairnet, obviously you want the hair to be all the way back, and the hairnet should go in front of the ears and behind the hairline. So it should be like this. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want my hair to get it. It's fine, it'll wash out. But if you do put it over the ears or over the forehead, you will have a line, you'll look silly, everybody will make fun of you. They'll ask you where you got your tips, they're gonna tell you me, and then I'm gonna look bad. So don't do that. Anyway, another thing for intracare is when you're in the booth, I know that it's like right at your face, but don't scrunch your face and don't tense up your body. Your body should be calm and welcoming to the process for optimal results. And also when you scrunch your face, you create wrinkles and lines, and again, it can crease into the lines and it just looks silly. So again, just nice relaxed face with your nose plugs and your lip balm and you're good to go. Always allow proper dry time when your spray is finished. Like when you go in these booths, a lot of them will tell you all this stuff step by step, but just a kind, friendly reminder for some of these things, please allow proper dry time. It will give you a couple minutes to stand there in front of the fan. It's okay to feel sticky when you're finished, but you don't want to feel wet. Again, most of this is for comfort, but also you just want to make sure that it's not gonna come off on anything, or it's just more comfortable, really. You just want it to be dry. And then when you're stepping out of the booth, you want to remove the barrier cream and all of that. So the first thing I do when I step out of the booth, of course I close the door so it can do its wash cycle, but I will remove my hairnet. I will grab a towel and I will take the towel and wipe off the barrier cream in all the areas that I applied it, hands and feet. And they always have these little wet naps or these little baby wipes. Always take a baby wipe and rub on the cuticles all of the cuticles of the fingers and toes. Do a gentle rub between the fingers and the toes, and I always take just not with a lot of pressure, but I just take the wipe and I slightly just wipe over the entire hand, just very gently, and then maybe with a little bit more pressure on the pointer and the thumb. Again, those are just areas that I've experienced that are going to grab more color. One thing I did forget while you're inside of the booth is when you're facing the nozzles, so it's spraying the front, and you have your arms out like this to the side, just pull your forearm back so that the spray is actually closer to this part of the arm. If you have it right into the nozzle, it's just going to put a lot of color here, and a lot of color on the wrist is not a natural it's not a natural look. So putting the arms back, and then again when you're facing with the nozzles behind you, putting the arms a little bit forward. As you can see, you'll bring this part forward. This part of the arm is always lighter than the rest of the body, even with a suntan, so making sure that the forearms, whether it be the front or the back, is always faced farther away from the nozzles. That's always really important. Okay, so that's it for Intricare and immediately stepping out of the booth. For aftercare, I have a few different recommendations. I usually always recommend people do the clear option at night. The clear option, I think I've said it before, but it's basically all delayed bronzers, so you're not going to see that instant makeup bronzer, which is what comes off on the clothes, it comes off in your sheets. The smell is not, in fact, the makeup bronzer. It is the chemical process of the DHA binding to the protein, so you can't really get rid of that smell. I've kind of gotten used to it, so anyway, I always recommend doing my spray tan at night. You want to allow for about 6 to 8 hours before you rinse or shower, and I really don't recommend sweating or working out within the next 4 to 6 hours either. For optimal results, do it at night, sleep on it, rinse it off in the morning, and then you can go about your day. I don't recommend going to work out or sweat before I take the shower. Tried that before and it looked funny. So from experience, just don't do that. Anyway, you'll want to use a tan extender or some sort of moisturizer without alcohol. Alcohol is going to strip the color, so basically if you're using this tan extender and continuing to drink more water, your cells are going to stay healthier, more supple, more moisturized, which means they are not going to shed as fast. So you're going to hold on to your tan a lot longer, and being hydrated is just smart anyway, so it's a win-win. You don't want to spray any perfumes directly on the skin. Again, a lot of them have alcohol in them, and they will strip color, and it'll often look like a splashy little mess. So spray tans are expensive. We want them to last, right? Cool. You'll want to minimize shaving for the next couple of days. I always recommend, like I said before, shaving the day of, or within 24 hours before getting your spray tan, so that way you don't feel the need to shave so quickly. Shaving is only going to take more layers of the skin off, and your tan will fade more quickly if you shave more frequently. You want to use a body wash with moisturizers, again, for another reason to keep your skin moisturized, supple, preventing shedding too quickly. And this will also maintain an even tan, so that certain parts are not shedding and other parts are, and then it just looks uneven. So make sure your body wash has moisturizers in it, you're using a post-tan extender or lotion with moisturizers in it, and drinking lots of water for that purpose. Last but not least, your face is probably going to fade significantly faster than the rest of the body because we wash it a lot more frequently, and we tend to want to exfoliate the face after every day because of the dirt and the oil that is on our face, and makeup for those of us that wear makeup. So I always recommend getting a good bronzer, so that way your face matches the body when it is beautifully glowing. So yeah, I like to use dark bronzers anyway, because then it allows me to do highlighting and contouring, which I really like. I'll save that for a later video. But anyway, I hope these steps were helpful. Please leave a comment, thumbs up, whatever you need to do to let me know. And if this was a helpful video, please let me know.